Welcome back to CBS News 24/7. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte is in Washington this week. He's meeting with President Trump as well as Secretaries of State and Defense Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth. But he's also scheduled for a stop on Capitol Hill where he will meet with senators. CBS News congressional correspondent Caitlin Huey-Burns is watching closely as that news conference between the president and Rutte just played out. What's the play with senators today?
Hey, Reed. Yeah, that was quite a press conference indeed, a quite lengthy one, and I bet that senators were paying attention to it. The bulk of that conversation was about this aid transfer to Ukraine in the form of weapons. Up here on Capitol Hill, the big issue of the day is whether they are going to pass sanctions against Russia to try to squeeze Russia, bring them to the table. And the thought among senators here, especially hawkish Republicans, is that that will help to get this war to an end. There has been a remarkable flip, I should say, among kind of the Republican Party over the past several years. We've seen lots of lawmakers hew to Trump's angle, which is that they shouldn't aid Ukraine. They're spending too much money aiding that country. Now that script has kind of flipped, Reed, and you heard the president there when he was talking to Rutte about Putin. Now you're hearing lawmakers up here really wanting to squeeze Putin, essentially saying that the president tried to negotiate with him. It isn't happening. We need to figure out a way. So that's kind of the backdrop to this meeting that they are going to have with the NATO secretary today. But we are keeping a close eye on this Russia sanctions bill because they've been closely coordinating with the White House, essentially waiting for the White House to give them the green light.
Right. Okay, so let's table that for a minute and talk about something that's kind of technical, right? It's the rescissions package. Senators are on the clock to approve all of the president's DOGE cuts. Remind us what that is and what's at stake here.
Yeah, when you hear rescissions, your eyes probably glaze over. You might want to change to the channel. Don't change the channel. We're going to walk you through it. So as you know, kind of bare bones, fundamental Congress 101, they approve funding, right? The president, though, can essentially ask Congress to take some of it back, to claw it back, to cancel funds that they have already approved. That is called a rescission of funds, essentially. So all of those DOGE cuts we've been talking about for the past several months, they have to be approved by Congress. And so the president is asking Congress to take back about $9.5 billion, billion with a B, that it approved previously. Now, a bulk of those cuts have to do with foreign aid, the cutting of USAID, for example, and other aid programs. And then another portion of it is cuts to public broadcasting. Think NPR, PBS, local public broadcasting channels. The president wants to cut back that funding. But here's the sticking point, Reed. There are a number of Republican lawmakers from very rural states who have been telling us that they're concerned about this cut, not because of NPR or PBS, but because a lot of their constituents get their news and information from public broadcasting. It's really their only source of information in some of these areas, and especially when it comes to information about emergency alerts and those sorts of things, they rely on that. So there has been some pushback against that. But lawmakers are running up against a clock here because this all has to be approved by Congress by Friday, Reed.
Well, and I'm a child of rural America myself, and so I'm very much aware of the conversation relative to rural impacts on radio and rural impacts on hospitals, etc. They are constituents. It's fascinating to hear from them. Caitlin Huey-Burns, always fascinating to hear from you as well, my friend. Have a great Monday. Hope to see you back a little bit later this week.